Morning peeps, I'm back now. Very quick turnaround this week because it's not only a quick turnaround for my videos, it's a very quick turnaround for Premier League. It's kind of, I think this is the shortest turnaround of the entire season, isn't it? And it's going to kind of having an effect on what I'm going to do, I think, this week because it was only a few hours ago I did that video after the Arsenal game where I was pretty keen on kicking out João Pedro, wasn't I? I was annoyed with him. You know, he looked rubbish. He looked tired, irritable, nearly got himself sent off. Brighton didn't look great. And my initial thought was get rid of him and just bench Fernandes. So, but the problem was, I looked at a few replacements, didn't I? Arteta and Watkins. I could go straight to Watkins if I wanted to. Note I couldn't go straight to Isaac, as someone in the chat was saying, because I haven't got enough money. But I could have gone straight to Watkins, who's got some decent fixtures. But then I realised, having thought of it for a while, but my main priority has to be to change Cunha into Isaac. You know, I cannot go without Isaac forever. It's just being silly, especially when Saka's out, and there's not really anyone else to spend the money on, is there? So, you know, I like Solanke. I'll be keeping Solanke. People rubbish Solanke because they compare him with Isaac, but they shouldn't do that because they're not in the same price bracket even. So I think it's 7.5 million. Solanke's fine. But that must be my priority. So that pretty much rules out upgrading João Pedro because there's nobody worth buying, really. I mean, people like Vardy aren't even playing. Leicester got bad fixtures. Evan Nielsen's out of form. Even Chris Wood's out of form. And I probably couldn't even afford him anyway. And still get Isaac in. Could I? Let's have a look. Isaac. João Pedro out. I've got enough for Wood. 6.5. 6.5 is all I've got. So I can't even afford that now. See that? It's funny because I could a couple of days ago, couldn't I? This is a bit of a worry. Right, so basically the problem, as it always is with me, is Fernandes. Because I didn't think João Pedro was going to be a problem. I thought I could just keep him, or maybe I can. But regardless, with Fernandes' sending off, United looking worse than I thought they were. I mean, I was expecting, when I brought Fernandes in, I was expecting United to do well against Wolves. But even before the sending off, they looked rubbish, didn't they? So he's going to go. And I've looked at replacements. Some of you will be looking for replacements, so I'll quickly run through them. I rejected Odegaard on the grounds that he is pretty much the same price as Fernandes and rules out flexibility. There's no real midfielders for Villa. Bournemouth already got Semenyo. Brighton, no. Chelsea, no. You cannot get Madueke, I think, because he's not going to play very many games. You can't really get any of them. Even, you know, the Sancho's interesting, but you never know whether he's going to start or not. Palace, which is the one that have got the best fixtures. So you've got Eze and Sarr. So I've had a look at both of those. Eze, he just seems to get 2 points. Ever since Elise left, he's just like a 2-point merchant, isn't he? No one knows if he's on penalties or not. He probably isn't. So I'm thinking Sarr from him. None of these other teams have anyone at all that appeals. Liverpool, you don't know who's going to play. I looked at Foden, had a very good look at Foden. I was tempted, just as a 4-week punt. But again, you know, it's transfers, isn't it? And after the 4 weeks, they've got shocking fixtures. You know, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham and Forest away. That's an awful run for City. So it's really, if I did get Foden, I really would have to get rid of him in 4 weeks' time. And like I said, I've got other things to be doing, like getting Isaac in, getting rid of João Pedro, and all those sorts of things. And with Foden costing more than Fernandes, it stops me kind of doing all those things. Ahmad is another one. But could I replace Fernandes with Ahmad? No, not really. I mean, if I was going to do that, I would have done it the first time round. But that doesn't really appeal to me. The only other one, of course, is Gordon. But yeah, Newcastle got a tougher next two. Then they've got decent fixtures. Forest, I quite like, what's his face? I can't remember his name now. The 6 million. I had him before at the start of the season. He did really well for me. I never remember his name. You know it, peeps, so we won't bother with that. Fixtures aren't quite there, really. Well, not terrible, but anyway, Southampton, no one. I looked at Maddison, but he hardly ever plays. The funny thing is, whenever Maddison doesn't play, Tottenham seem to lose. And so I just can't work out why he's not playing more. It's very strange. Very strange. West Ham, Bowen's running out of good fixtures, which is why I didn't want him last week. And Wolves have got absolutely shocking ones, you see that? So definitely Cunha is going quickly, probably next week actually. And the only way I can really keep flexibility in my team, I think, is to do what everyone else is doing and get Sarr in. Now, I know Sarr's a bit of a worry in that the teams that Palace are playing now are different from the ones they've just been playing. You know, they relied on counter-attacks and stuff before, which is what suits Sarr. He might not be so well suited to playing the likes of Southampton. But his main attribute, for my purposes, is that he's cheap. So I can bench João Pedro. So at least I've got a full bench if there's lots of rotation this week. Which there could well be, couldn't there? Probably bench Colwell. So I've got that this week. And next week, Cunha to Isaac. And I've still got 3.5 million in the bank. Now we're going to come up to the January transfer window, aren't we? So you never know, you know. I mean, people planning on Jackson and that. I mean, they could sign Osimhen or whoever it was they were going to get. Chelsea could make a big signing in the January window. You never know with them. Other teams too. Players could be moving. Cunha could be moving, couldn't he? So we never know what's happening in January. So it's good to have a bit of money in the bank and keep a bit of flexibility. So bringing Sarr in. He's popular. A lot of other people are bringing in. So I kind of cover myself if he does turn out to be really good and I didn't get him, which would be a bit annoying if that happened. So, you know, at least with this structure, I can decide to take out João Pedro. So we get to the next week. João Pedro's home to Ipswich. So I'd probably give him one last chance. One last chance. Well, it's okay, so we bench Semenyo and give Pedro one last chance against Ipswich and save a free transfer. If all goes well. You know, it never does it? Something will go wrong. But, so I save the transfer there. And then the following week, I can finally take out João Pedro and bring in someone like Jackson in game week 20, where are we? 22. And I've also got another free transfer by then, so I could bring in an Everton goalie or a Liverpool goalie for the double game week. So that looks doable to me, and I can have. Then I've got my favourite front three that I've been after. You know, all these have still got good fixtures because Palace have got such a long run of good fixtures. You don't have to make changes. Whereas if I'd got Foden in, I'd already be having to look at getting him out by this stage. Brighton, Bournemouth fixtures are stiffening. So, there's a case for removing Semenyo around this time and getting someone else who's got a good run of fixtures coming up. But that shouldn't be a problem to find somebody else. So that's what I'm going to do, I think. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring in Sa. It's a bit boring because that's what a lot of other people are doing. But then again, there is a reason why they're doing it, isn't there? Fixtures, form, cheap. I mean, I could have done it last week, but he had Bournemouth last week. Fernandes had Wolves. I thought I'd get Fernandes in. So that's about it, peeps. That's pretty much, I always like to come on and tell you what I'm doing. So I think that is what I am doing. If I don't do that, if something crops up with Sa and he's no good, I might revisit the Foden plan. I might just get Eze if there is an injury to Sa or whatever. If Cunha's banned, I'll be taking a -4. I'll be taking a -4 and I'll be getting Sa in and turning Cunha into Isaac. It's not looking like it's going to be banned now, is it? But you never know. So this will be my team for this week. It doesn't look awful, does it? The goalkeeper looks awful because Flecken's going to be injured, which isn't a terrible thing. But I've got to play with Bruggen away at Villa. And like I said, Brighton have had one less day to prepare. At least he should get some save points, hopefully. And the other good thing for Brighton is that Solly March is back, isn't he? And they're going to be a lot more solid with him back, I think. So that's good news for them. And what else? Captain Salah. You can argue Palmer's got a better fixture. They've had a day longer to prepare than Ipswich have, which is a good reason to put the armband on Palmer. But you're increasing your volatility by putting it on Palmer. You're risking more, but your potential gains are good, but your potential losses are much higher as well because most people will be on Salah. So you are taking a kind of risk. If you're needing to catch up, then go Palmer maybe. But if you're happy with your rank and just want to play it safe, go with Salah. We found out in the last few weeks it doesn't pay to take a chance with your captain normally, does it? It's kind of form Salah's in. And we have a big decisions whether to bench Robinson or Colwell this week. Robinson's on 4 yellows, isn't he? If he gets another one this week, he's going to get a ban. So that's about it, peeps. So I'm off now. That's going to be the last video for me before the game week. I mean, it's not long to go now, is there? Only a few days. So that's it. So like and subscribe. Put down in your comments what you think, and we'll get a bit of a chat going. I like all the old comments. I always read them, try and reply to them, and we'll see what happens. So see you all after the game week, peeps. I've got a month off work actually, so I'll be doing quite a lot of videos in January. So you're going to get sick of me pretty quick, but it will mean I'll probably do a few as the game weeks are ending, and with my initial thoughts, and then one nearer the deadline when I've had a chance to calm down a bit and think things through a bit rationally. Because you can see here what a difference it makes. Even straight after the game when I was looking at taking João Pedro out, then you kind of calm down, look at the bigger picture, and yeah. So I think Fernandes can go and Sa's coming in. Okay then, peeps. So like and subscribe, and I'll be back in a couple of days.